Tough stretch. I'll just start off by saying I thought our guys competed start to finish. What a magnificent effort. Trying to execute a game plan. Tough situation with two officials, and I thought they were tremendous tonight, but very competitive game. And it always comes down to possessions. And, our possession ended up with just an unfortunate situation with Caris falling down, and their possession prior to that with Looney getting the offensive rebound, just kind of a random situation there. But no lack of effort from our guys tonight.
Sabonis hits that shot. You guys go up by 5 with 90 seconds or so. What did you see as the primary problem areas just overall down the stretch?
Yeah, I just thought it was, our aggression versus their execution. We were trying to obviously pay a lot of attention to their shooters, Steph specifically, and they're able to get some movement. And we had opportunities where we were in the bonus with a few minutes to go, and we weren't able to capitalize on that. A lot of that had to do with their defense. Draymond was pretty much in every pick and roll. We tried to run a play down the stretch to get him out of there with Keelan and Malcolm. Malcolm misses a step-back jumper. But no, I just thought our aggression, we try to just be more aggressive up the floor, and they were able to get some things downhill.
You were able to lead for a good majority of this game. It seemed like the game plan on Steph overall was executed pretty well. I mean, does that make a night like tonight more frustrating when you don't come out on the right end of it?
No, I think there's a lot of hope in a night like tonight. We wanted to be physical. We wanted to make everything tough. They scored 102 points. That's not who they are. And they had 18 turnovers, which we know that they lead the league in turnovers. We had to force turnovers. We had to win the possession game. So in a lot of ways, we did what we wanted. We executed what we wanted. We took away the three-point shot from them for the majority of the game. But when you're in a close situation, then it becomes a possession 50-50 game, and they were able to get that offensive rebound, and we were able to turn it over at the end and not get a shot.
On the not the last possession, with the possession that Caris had where he kind of lost his balance, was that the shot you were looking for? It looked like it was some action with Brogdon and Domantas, and then obviously time's running out, and he kind of looked like he just had to go.
No, it's I mean, when you're running a last play, you got to find seams and you got to find holes. And we know they're in a switch. Draymond's in the middle of it with the pick and roll. So it was kind of a read and react play with Malcolm and Caris. Caris ends up with the keep. He's trying to get downhill. He's got a lane to his left hand. He prefers driving to his left. Nothing you can do when a guy slips. Whatever was coming. I thought he was going to have a good lane either for the step back or something at the rim. But, it was kind of an option play with both of those guys.
And then what did you think of Malcolm's performance? I know, again, a lot of the talk was about Steph Curry, and obviously he drew most of that assignment and pretty much matched his production offensively, and then obviously played pretty good defense on him as well.
Yeah, it's a tough challenge, and Malcolm would probably be the first to admit he doesn't like chasing guys. And, we talked about matching up down the line, and he's the point guard, and Malcolm's our point guard. And, by the end of the first quarter, Malcolm was saying, let me stay on him the entire game. So I think he embraced the challenge. I think he took the challenge, and it's a tough situation. You're chasing a guy that everyone on their team is setting screens for, and then you got to come down on the other end and try and initiate our offense and get in the paint. And he did a tremendous job of getting in the paint and getting downhill as well.
Warriors end up winning Steph's minutes by 17 points tonight, despite pretty good defense on him. What makes defending them so much harder when he's in the game beyond his gravity and spacing?
Well, I mean, experience. A lot of times if you overreact to Steph up the floor, there's someone slipping to the rim, and they had 60 points in the paint. A lot of that is by design. We wanted to force them to have to play one-on-one. We didn't want to give up any slip layups, but we wanted to force other guys to have to play one-on-one basketball. But their experience of slipping through screens when they know we're switching, their experience of moving the basketball when they see a weak side defender come in, and then anytime you bust through the first screen with Steph, somebody else is running up to a handoff or a DHO, and he's coming off the second one. So you really have to just stay engaged the entire time.
Lloyd, you had a moment with Steph postgame. What was that like for you?
He talked about the gun. He talked about shooting on the gun in his second year. He said, we've come a long way from the gun. It's kind of our little hidden joke that we, when we work together. But no, I'm just proud of him as a person. I gave him an early congratulations for the record. Was thankful that he didn't do it tonight, but wanted to congratulate him as he's probably going to do it the next game.
Malcolm, you guys were able to take a 5-point lead with about 90 seconds left, and they closed on a 7-0 run. What did you see as the primary challenges to close out tonight?
We weren't able to score the ball. They were scoring at the end, and we weren't.
It seemed like you and a couple of other guys who were primarily on Steph tonight executed at least that portion of the game plan pretty well. Can you speak to that and maybe just the frustration to not be able to get a win when you do a pretty good job on him?
Yeah, he's the focal point. He's their engine, and when you slow him down, you expect to win the game. And we definitely slowed him down. We did a great collective job on him, and but they got other players, man. They're pros over there. They're really good players over there.
Malcolm, how much did you want to kind of take ownership of that situation? You obviously started on him. Lloyd said later in the game, you said, "Hey, I got it the rest of the way." How much, point of pride was that for you?
Huge. He's one of the best in the world. That's just what it is. I know he was trying to get that record tonight, and in my mind, I'd made up he wasn't going to make that happen. Not in our arena. So, I wanted to stay on him. I wanted him to have a tough night. And still, I'm looking at his stats. He had, for him, it's probably a tough night, but he had a decent game. So, I thought we did a good job on him.
Malcolm, when you look at just the way it played out, what do you think that last possession, specifically, how that played out? What did you see on it, and maybe what happened to kind of have it play out like
With
that?
Caris?
Yeah, I know, because Lloyd was saying it was for you and Domas at first, and then obviously Caris kind of had to just go.
Yeah, well, they switched. Draymond was out on me. I didn't really have a lane to attack, and then if I couldn't attack, the play was to swing it back to Caris and him come off and make a play. And he tried to make a play, he just slipped and fell. And that's how the night went for us.
And then did it feel kind of like, I don't want to say a playoff game, but like every time Curry shoots the ball, touches the ball, checks in, there's like a roar. So what
Yeah.
is that like to be in an environment where it's feeling like it's kind of like that playoff atmosphere, more people are engaged with the game?
It's fun. It felt like there were a lot of people rooting against us in our arena. We definitely had our fans in there, but there were people in there rooting against us. And it's fun when you hear people go crazy for Steph and go crazy for the opposing team. It juices you up a little bit.
Domas, you get that bucket to put you guys up 5 with about 90 seconds left, and then they close on a 7-0 run. What did you see as the primary challenges down the stretch?
It was, we had a plan to try and stop Steph, but he changes the game completely. Everyone is in different defensive schemes all the time, and they're really good at switching it up, slipping, and all that stuff. And we just couldn't score at the end, and they got their shots to fall.
It seemed like you executed that game plan as a team on Steph pretty well, and you were in a position to win here tonight. Does it make a result like this a little extra frustrating?
Yeah, of course. We feel like we had it at the end. Just a couple shots. We had 2 good looks at the end. Even that last 3 where Steph missed, we just couldn't get the rebound. And that cost us the game.
I don't know how much you can go back through that particular rebound, but I guess what happened on that play? I know it's a broken play. Remember, anybody shoots the 3, it's kind of a weird rebound, but it looked like obviously that was the game.
Yeah, we just didn't grab it, and then he just laid it up.
And then on top of that, I know Malcolm said he took a lot of pride in guarding Steph Curry, and as his teammate, when you're seeing this guy check Steph Curry and then come down the other end and still have, I think he had 23 and 6 and 8. What does that say about how good of a player he is?
He's great. He's a two-way player. He's one of our best defenders. We count on him a lot on a lot of matchups during the whole season. So it's great that we have him on our team.
Domas, is there anything in particular late in games you'd like to see change in terms of initiating offense and being more productive in the final minutes?
I feel like all of our looks were good. Malcolm hit 2 free throws. I think Miles had 2 threes in the corner. That play at the end of the game for Caris was great. He just slipped, but he would have pulled up into his sweet spot. And we trust him taking that shot every day.
I know there's obviously superstars in the league, and it seems like with Curry, even hours before the game, a lot of fans are here to see him. Is that just unique to him, or is he right now probably top billing in the NBA as far as just crowd?
We haven't seen that here all season. He comes, he brings all the fans, everyone's watching, pregame shooting, everyone's there. It's just us against the world. We got to do our job and try and win the game.
Domas, despite the tough loss, things have looked a lot better recently. Do you feel like things are starting to click a little bit and into the future for you?
Yeah, I feel like playing with more intensity on defense is getting us outrunning. We got to play quicker. We're all sharing the ball more, and it's contagious. I said a couple games ago, that's contagious. Everybody gets going, and it's good for us. We have a lot of weapons, and we need to use them all.
Caris, can you take us through the final offensive possession, just from your eyes, and how frustrating it must have been as you turned the corner there and fell?
Yeah, they switched it up top. I think we were looking for a 3. They did a great job of switching it. So I just tried to get downhill and make a play. Kind of slipped in the lane a little bit. Obviously tried to tip it back out, and it just went out of bounds. It's obviously frustrating. We had a lead. We felt like we played great basketball all game. Kind of lost it in the last, 3-4 minutes. So it was definitely tough.
How frustrating is a night like tonight when you lead for a vast majority of it? You guys do a pretty good job on Steph. Even the final play, it seemed like you maybe had a path there to the lane if you don't slip. It just seems like a frustrating night overall.
Yeah, for sure. I think in these situations, you got to try to find the positives. We're all, angry right now, disappointed with, whatever words you want to use. But I think trying to find the positive out of this situation, how hard we play all night, how locked in we were to the scout report all night, how tough we made it on them. We moved it offensively. A lot of good takeaways from it. We got to close game. We got to close this game better. But I think there was a lot of positives we can take from it.
Do you just kind of take it on the chin when you all guarding Steph Curry? He misses that 3 to tie the record or whatever, and then it's just a kind of a fluke rebound. Like, I guess, how do you as a team swallow that one when you do everything right and it's like that slim margin between victory and defeat? Yeah,
it was tough, rebound and finish for them. I felt like he didn't even look at the rim on the layup Looney had. But we got to do the little things like boxing out. And it's always the fundamentals that kind of hurt you at the end. And that's something that we didn't do late in that game.
And I know Malcolm said he didn't want Curry to get the record. None of you, I assume, want him to get the record tonight. So for him to kind of take that personally and specifically match up with him pretty much all night and then go out on the offensive end and match him offensively, what does that say about the caliber of player he is?
Yeah, man, Malcolm had a hell of a game, That's extremely tough, fighting through all those screens, chasing him around full court, and then down the stretch making plays, scoring, assisting. Huge night for a big-time player for sure. We're definitely getting our rhythm as a team, and we're not going to let this game kind of define us. We're going to keep rolling.
Curious, what did it feel like to play in this type of atmosphere with seemingly a lot on the line for a regular season game?
It felt great. I think that's all what we live for. That's all what we, we're used to as players. And we love playing in these type of games. And I think as we continue to play better, we'll get these type of, fans and excitement and energy in the crowd. And I think it's up to us how we play. I think we can dictate, the attendance and things like that.
How challenging or difficult has it been with not just Rick out, but a couple other coaches and just different responsibilities on top of trying to win games?
It's the NBA. It's the NBA. It happens every year. It's obviously COVID, which is a unique situation. But there's injuries. It's a long season. So it's kind of a next man up mentality each and every year. For guys that's kind of been in it, we know what to expect. Which is why we got 15 guys, a lot of coaches ready. And I feel like in those, next man up situations, we've done pretty well this far.
Caris, obviously there's been a lot of great players in the NBA that draw great crowds. But have you ever been in a game where a guy catches it, just takes it up the court and the crowd is like roaring, or he checks into the game and he hasn't even touched the ball at all and people are like basically like breathing with every shot, if that makes sense? Yeah, for sure. I played in New York, so it was that type of environment every single game. So I'm kind of used to that. Is he like the greatest? Is he the hottest watch in the league right now? Just seeing the energy around, shoot around, and warming up, people just wanting to see him wherever he is. I would say so, especially because of the record. I think that adds a lot to it. But even without that, I think people just like watching him play.